Alex Leatherwood is a Crimson Tide offensive lineman. He was asked on NFL Network by Andrew Siciliano whether he's been asked any crazy questions in the draft process. He said, yes, one of the teams asked me if I was a dog or a cat. Not a dog person or a cat person, but am I more of a dog or more of a cat? And that is such a loaded question. I don't know if there is a right or wrong answer there. Of course, the inclination is that dogs are more aggressive. They're bigger. They're stronger. So you'd want to make sure that you are seen that way. At the same time, if you say cat, a jaguar's a cat. A cheetah's a cat. A tiger's a cat. A lion, the king of the jungle's a cat. So is there anything better than being the king of the jungle? That's a pretty alpha male answer, right? So I don't know why they ask this. That seems silly. But Alex Leatherwood said nobody likes cats. Cats are demons. To which Andrew Siciliano, the host, also agreed. Now, I know Andrew. I like Andrew. But I will not stand for cat slander. Okay? Let me tell you a little story. Mraz can speak to this well. I met a young, pinkish-hued Sean Mraz back when he was just Sean Morash, a Subway sandwich artist and a part-time radio show producer on WFAN in New York, just looking for his first full-time job in December of 2012. We were to launch the show January 2, 2013. And at that point in time, I was a pretty unemotional pet person. Pretty unemotional, unattached human when it came to animals. We'd had pets growing up. We had, in fact, 3 different cats growing up and probably 3 different dogs. And all of them were fine. I had no problem with my cats or dogs. I just wasn't totally attached to them. And then once I moved out of the house, went to college, got my own place, was on my own, single, bachelor, never had a pet. Didn't want a pet, didn't need a pet. Had some fish. Unfortunately, killed them all. Bad fish dad. Really bad fish dad. Didn't know, apparently, how to take care of fish. And that's tough to mess up. The Bourbon Bell walked into my life in 2015. Huge pet person. Huge. Has always had cats and dogs. Has 2 wiener dogs, which I am convinced if I croaked before the wiener dogs, she'd actually be okay with that. I think she actually is far more dedicated to the wiener dogs than me. But I'm okay with that. I understand my place in this. And frankly, didn't quite get it. Asked a lot of probing questions about this love affair with wiener dogs and why and how, and just wasn't for me. And when we got married and we bought the house now about 18 months ago, she said, we have to get a cat. We have to get a cat. We have to get a cat. And I was kind of like, all right, fine. I mean, what's the big deal? It's a cat. It's a cat. The cat's going to be walking around the house, sitting on windowsills, whatever. Chase a mouse every so often. You feed it twice a day. What's the big deal? It's just a cat. And let me tell you, my relationship with Rosie the cat has burgeoned and bloomed and flowered so much that I could never imagine not having Rosie the cat in my life. I just can't imagine it. I can't imagine what type of serial killer I was before Rosie the cat came into my life and gave me her love and affection and friendship and everything. The Bourbon Bell went to her parents' house, the in-laws, over the weekend. It was her mom's birthday. I stayed back here at the house. She took Rosie the cat. Rosie the cat enjoys going on some car rides and visiting the wiener dogs, and so they have a big old pet jamboree time up there. She likes teasing the wiener dogs, running around with them, what have you. So I did not see Rosie for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and most of Sunday. Yesterday, I laid down to take a nap in the middle of the day. Rosie burst into the room, hopped up on the bed. I had my left arm out, and Rosie came directly and nuzzled in between my left arm and my left shoulder and just laid there. She missed Cat Dad. She just knew she was back And here was a chance to snuggle. Now, does that not melt your heart? And you are going to come out and say on national TV, Andrew Siciliano and Alex Leatherwood, that cats are demons? Cats are demons? Demons with whiskers? How dare you? And let me tell you this. I've got a couple of friends that are terrified of cats. They come over the house, they think that Rosie is like a piranha. They are worried about her jumping out of corners and attacking them. They've had some bad experience with cats. And I'm not here to say that every cat is great, because I get it. There's some weird cats. Like I had 3 cats growing up, and none of them snuggled. None of them were all that social. They like to live in our basement, the finished basement, and just sleep on their own couch and not see anybody and live in darkness. They just loved it down there. So whatever. Those were not very friendly cats. I get it. Those feel like demon cats. Okay, I think those cats were picked up by my sister in a parking lot somewhere, but okay, fine.
Demons.
And I'm not anti-dog either. You know, I think dogs are awesome, and one day I'll have a dog as well, and I think dogs are really, really cool, but cats can be really, really cool as well, and this kind of like slander against cats that I see online all the time is very peculiar to me. And when my friends come over and they're scared of Rosie, the cat, she's just hanging out. She's playing with stink bugs in the corner. She's pawing around some crickets and trying to, just have a good day, laying the day away, getting her sunshine and begging me for a little bit of food here and there. Do you know that Rosie the cat wakes up with me every single morning? My wife sleeps. I get up real early. Rosie picks at the door and wants to wake up with me. She wants to get ready with me in the bathroom. And then after that I'm done, she wants a little snack, kind of like a Mraz. You give her a little snack, you rub her belly, and then she goes back to bed until my wife wakes up. But she wants to get up and be part of my morning at dark 30. Mraz, I know that you have your dogs and your Pomeranians and now the Pomskis. And I don't know how you feel about cats, but I do feel like there is a slander that happens with cats all the time.
I had Zipper and Velcro growing up. I had cats before I had dogs.
Zipper and Velcro. I didn't know this.
Yes, yeah. Zipper and Velcro. They were best buds. Obviously, both have since passed on long ago when I was a kid, but I love them. I don't stand for cat slander either. Pets can be absolute best friends, and I oftentimes think that demon cats specifically are a product of just not being good cat parents, like anything in life. You got to take care of them, nurture them, and they're going to love you back. I have no issue with cats whatsoever. The old saying, fighting like cats and dogs, they could all get along. We all just got to treat them great. I love cats, and I popped by this summer. I loved Rosie. Couldn't wait to meet Rosie. Forget you, forget your wife, forget Larry Amendo. I had to go see where Rosie was at to make sure she knew I came in peace. I absolutely adore cats. So, yeah, I don't get it. Cats are demons. Now, the bobcat that attacks that woman, maybe a demon. But we're talking about a little Garfield pussycat? No way. No demon there.
What do you think it is about cats that seem to scare more people than dogs? Is it those when they just stare at you with those hollow eyes, or maybe because they got the claws that they can jump up and rip up something?
I think it's part claw, and I think it's part their sound, the like high-pitched squealing meow, is not as comforting even as a deep dog bark, right? Like you can mock a dog with a oof, 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 the dog pound sitting back there, and you kind of, even if the dog's angry and barking at you, you could have fun making fun of the bark. When you hear that like that thing go on with a cat, that becomes very frightening to people. There's no fun there to be had with that. And I think it's more the sounds combined with the claw situation makes cats, I don't know, weird to people.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think also cats do come off as smarter than you. They'll look at you and they'll be like, okay, I see what you're doing here. They seem calculating, where dogs are just like panting, tongue is out. They just want some water and a bunch of food. They're kind of like your big dummy friend that you just pet them on the head and you're going to be fine. You eat a few burgers with them and they're not going to ask any tough questions. But cats are like the smart friend that went to a good school that you feel are always judging you.
I think that's a great point. You look at a cat and you think Harvard. You look at a Doberman and you think SUNY Old Westbury. There's no doubt about it. There's a difference there in intellect. Although dogs, I guess, are in theory smarter. It's the way they come off, right? Like a cat is me with those meaningless glasses. A dog is me after a few beers. I think that is the difference.
People do, I think, get scared of the cat intellect. They do feel like they're judging you quite a bit. Sometimes I'll want to pal around with Rosie and she'll just stare at me like, what are you doing? What is this? What does your life come to? Honestly, isn't there something you could do with the show? And isn't there a nomad to be produced here, DA? Can you please go work on something where dogs are just like, yeah, all the time? So I guess I kind of get that. But I'm not going to sit here and stand for pet slander. And you know me, Mraz. You dealt with me for 3 or 4 years before the Bourbon Bell, and then 5 or 6 years before we got Rosie, and I was just a cold-hearted fool about pets.
Oh, there's no question which DA I prefer more. There's not a doubt in my mind. I mean, there's a mistake I made on the show alone this morning that listeners won't know about. That if it was 6 years ago, you wouldn't hear my voice for 3 weeks. So I totally prefer this DA, loving cats, great wife at home. This is the DA we all need in life. And I was going to say this is a very monumental moment of the show because Alex Leatherwood says this in 2014. Forget 2 segments spilling over in defense. It might have been the lead of the show talking about you need to draft this guy number 1 overall because he's so spot on. And what a change in character this has become for you. And I think it's very warming.
Demons.
I do want to make it very clear. I'm not pro cat over dog or pro dog over cat. I think they're all great. I think pets are great.
But yeah, why does there have to be one or the other? That's what I don't get. Love them all.
It's like the ketchup on hot dog thing. I like ketchup on a hot dog. I also like mustard on a hot dog. Sometimes I like them both on a hot dog. The people that just say you either have to have mustard or ketchup or I can't talk to you, I mean, this is such a weird take. Like, this is where you're going to draw the line in the sand where you're not allowed to have one or the other on that hot dog. You're not allowed to like both dogs and cats. What's wrong with people?
I hate that take. Shouldn't have to make a choice. Love them both.
Yeah. So I would say that Alex Leatherwood probably just needs a nice cat, a Rosie the cat type of cat to be in his life to realize that cats are not demons and that he probably just been around some scary cats that maybe were, as you said, yawning or screeching or singing outside of his window, his apartment. You know, if you hear a couple of stray cats and they're like in heat outside your window, yeah, it's scary. That is a scary sound.
My God, it's a bobcat. Attack my wife.
Maybe Alex Leatherwood had a rabid bobcat that attacked his girlfriend while walking in the driveway of his apartment complex. I don't know. He just needs to be introduced to the nice cats out there. By the way, the Denver Broncos have been connected to – that's not an easy pivot.